Hello, everybody, and thank you for taking the time to watch my presentation, and welcome to my classroom. And so you can tell I'm an English teacher, and so my pilot study is asking the question, why not more writing in the high school English classroom? Far too many students leave high school unprepared for college and for the workforce. One of the reasons why they are unprepared is because they haven't written enough. Writing is an important communication tool, and especially today with social media and emails and all of the technology that we have, it seems like writing is a very primary way to communicate with people, whereas it used to be telephone, so you'd have to be a good speaker. Now you have to do all of it, and our students are leaving high school unprepared. So it's not just the high school students who suffer, it's the college students. When they go to college, many students have to take remedial courses. And the remedial courses are expensive. They don't count toward their degrees. And a lot of students who have to take remedial courses, which would be in math and English, end up not finishing. And so I think that that's a huge burden on students who maybe start off thinking that they're prepared, believing that they're prepared, and then finding out that they're in fact not. And then they have student debt and the time that they've put into trying to work it out at college. It's just not fair to them. So the way that we need to help them is to get them prepared in high school. So I wanted to know maybe what are teachers doing, and the literature says that English teachers are assigning writing. It's just not the kind of writing that the students really need when they do go to college, and it's not the kind of writing that they need for the workforce either. Very few teachers teach how to write an email, for example, and so students leave unprepared. Furthermore, I wanted to know if it's the kind of problem that is solvable. What is it that's keeping the teachers from assigning more writing? The bottom line is that it impacts our students, and so it's a problem I think that needs to be definitely researched and solved. So as you can see, my question is exactly pertaining to that. Why aren't we doing more for our students when it comes to writing? For this study, I want to make sure that I define what I mean by multiple paragraph essay. It's an essay that has an introduction with a thesis statement, body paragraphs, at least 2, with at least 7 sentences for each paragraph, and then a conclusion. So it's the kind of paper that would probably require some planning. It's a process paper. Students would need to learn how to plan, draft thesis statements, write a rough draft, do the revising and editing that's involved before doing a final draft. And I think that in the future, if I were to change that a little bit, I might even include that it needs the questions about the modes of discourse. So students may typically write one kind of essay throughout high school. They don't write a variety of kinds, or a variety of styles. And so I think that that's something in the future maybe I would want to address. So the constructs were the kinds of barriers I anticipated teachers to have or to face. Self-efficacy. I think sometimes teachers feel like they themselves aren't good writers. I've actually known a lot of English teachers that are very confident readers, that their teacher training did a great deal of reading strategies. And I think if you look at the materials that are available for teachers, reading instruction seems to far outweigh anything that they can find for teaching how to write. And when it comes to high school, there's hardly anything that is outside of SAT, ACT prep, and state test prep. So the materials even aren't very helpful, I don't think. And so I think that teachers sometimes feel a little bit less confident about teaching writing versus teaching reading, and that's maybe why they don't do as much. Time demands, of course, there are a lot of duties teachers have to do, and then grading essays is very time consuming. Not only is grading essays time consuming, but so is teaching how to write. Teaching writing takes a great deal of class time, and with the different kinds of pressures on teachers for state tests, they may feel like they can't spend adequate time on that. So that also leads into administrative demands, because not only do teachers have to plan what they teach and find the materials to teach it, but they also have other duties around the school that they have to take care of. Contacting parents, updating grades, just keeping up with the regular daily chores that they have to keep up with. And then also beliefs about relevancy. It's sort of like, well, if my students can pass the state test, then isn't that good enough? And if I teach a little bit, doesn't that mean that they can still do a lot, that will transfer? Writing a good body paragraph or just a good paragraph, wouldn't that transfer into a longer paper? In my experience, that's not necessarily the case. But I wanted to see if those were the kinds of problems that teachers faced when they decided whether or not they should assign longer writing assignments. So the dependent variable would be the number of essays actually assigned, and the independent variables would be the various barriers that teachers face. I'm going to talk to you now about methods and results, the participants, instruments, and procedures. So the participants, or many of you all, thank you so much for those of you who participated. I know I enjoyed participating in all of your studies. It was really fun. It was cool to see different kinds of studies. So you all, the Auburn University graduate students, my classmates. I also had a couple of teachers around campus that weren't too busy to maybe see what they thought. I asked verbally in the hallways a computer teacher, my next door neighbor English teacher, and the librarian, and all three said yes. And so I had 3 of my colleagues, and then I had a couple of students. I don't know exactly how many. The top number could possibly be 16. I know not all 16 did it. It was not for extra credit. They were not rewarded. I just was working on it, and they're like, hey, can we do it too? So I sent them the link. I let them do it too. So the sample size ended up being 27. Distribution of the survey, as you all know, was posted on our discussion board. And then for my colleagues, once I got the verbal okay, I sent them an email through our intra-campus email servers. And then for high school students that wanted to participate, it was only for juniors. I put it on the Google Classroom. And if they felt like doing it, they could, but it was not required. It was not for extra credit. There was no reward for doing it. It was just if they wanted to. I think a handful of them do it. I honestly don't know the rate or response rate on that, because since it's all anonymous and I didn't have students tell me, I had maybe a couple said that they did it. The types of questions in the survey were closed-ended questions where they were multiple choice. There were 7 of those. The Likert types questions, I tried to keep it at least 5 in the Likert choices, or the rankings, the rankings. And then did a couple of rating scale where you can slide the little bar over and decide to what degree you feel a certain way. And then there were 7 demographic questions. Altogether, I had 35 questions. And so here's the part that I wish was better, but isn't. The questions that dealt with the construct of time, my Chromax alpha was 0.445, which is really low, and it was unexpected because I figured that those questions are pretty reliable questions. So maybe with more analysis, I could figure out where exactly I went wrong. I even looked at the chart that shows what it would be if you pulled certain questions out, and it wasn't really that helpful. The influences part, or construct, those questions, the alpha was 0.611, which is a little bit better. It still obviously needs some work. And then the efficacy was the best reliability, and it is at 0.709. And the relevance was the worst at 0.348. And so that needs obviously a great deal of work and analysis, I think, further analysis. So it's a couple of sample questions to kind of give you an idea of what they look like are here for you to see. I gave you 4 questions, 1 for each construct. I did start off with 5 constructs, but as I started putting the questions together and organizing the survey. It just didn't seem to fit in very well. That was a long time ago. I honestly don't remember what the other one was. Maybe it'll come back to me. I'm getting old. Anyway, so how many minutes does it take for grading? That would have been a time one, obviously. And how confident you would be in abilities as a teacher for self-efficacy. Relevance is do students need to learn how to write longer essays to pass the test that they need to pass to graduate? And then the influence, or what factors influence. So the number of students you teach, that would probably have some impact on whether or not a teacher assigns writing assignments. So the procedure for the studies, we all went through it. The Delphi method was used to vet our questions. We had our peer groups, and we together looked at constructs, definitions, and questions. And the survey went through multiple drafts with multiple revisions, could still use more revisions. The distribution and data collection was next. That was previously mentioned. And then I used SPSS for analyzing the data. And so here's some of the results. I took just a couple of questions to show you a couple of them that I thought were pretty interesting. How many minutes does it take for you to grade a 4-paragraph essay, on which you do not leave comments? Writing comments does take a lot more time when it's for grading essays. But I like this result because the highest number or percent was 33.3% of teachers spend 4 to 6 minutes on grading one 4-paragraph essay. That's a lot of time. And so I thought that was kind of an interesting outcome. And some people, so 25%, that's a huge percent, spend almost 10 minutes, or up to 9 minutes. And then 22% spend 10 minutes or more. So you can imagine if you have a class or a student body of that you teach and your subject is 50, which is very small, that's a lot of time grading essays that you're not even leaving comments on. And then another is the scale question. So to what degree do you feel bad about or worried about hurting your students' feelings? Only 26 out of the 27 participants answered this. And I thought it was the ends I thought were kind of interesting, that 2 participants, they're not worried about it at all. Either they're really nice or they're just stone cold hearted. I'm kidding. So, but one feels very, very bad or worries about hurting the students' feelings. I thought that was interesting. I would like to see this maybe with a whole lot of subjects, if it's a curvilinear type, maybe there's a certain point where you don't worry about it, and then you do, and then you don't. I don't know. I think it would be an interesting kind of concept to look into further. So I learned a great deal from this whole class. First of all, I would definitely change a few of my questions. I would take some out and add some and focus a little bit more on the constructs, and maybe even add a construct that seemed to make sense beyond those 4. Then the other thing I think would help, especially with the alpha, is a reliability, is to have more questions that ask kind of the same thing but in a different way. I've looked at a lot of surveys and I see that quite a bit. I thought I was doing that, but I don't think I did it well, or maybe I didn't do it enough. So I think basically asking the same question but in a different way would improve some of the Cronbach's alpha on that. I think also if I know really what I'm doing with the data before I start collecting data, I think that would help a lot more. It's kind of like a backwards design. That would, I think, help a lot. The peer feedback was the best part. You cannot do this without peer feedback, and there needs to be time for just figuring it out for sure. So there are my references. Thank you all for taking the time to see my my presentation. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks again for participating.